The courtroom fell into a heavy silence as the judge's gavel slammed down with unexpected force. Anna Carter's heart pounded. This was the moment everything changed. The accused, a man once thought innocent, suddenly confessed in a whisper that shook the entire room. "I did it," he said, eyes wide with despair. The spectators gasped, reporters scrambled for their cameras, and Anna, the relentless journalist chasing the truth, felt a fire ignite within her. This wasn't just a trial, it was a betrayal cloaked in government secrecy. Behind the polished walls of justice lay hidden truths, and Anna vowed to expose them all, no matter the cost. Anna left the courtroom with her mind racing. The confession was just the beginning. She knew the government's involvement ran deeper than anyone dared admit. Her investigation had uncovered whispers of manipulation, suppressed evidence, and silent threats. Now, every phone call, every shadowed glance carried a new weight. "They're watching," she thought. She clutched her recorder tightly, stepping into the rainy night, ready to unearth the buried truth. Her fight was no longer about a single trial. It was about exposing a system built to steal justice itself. Back in her cramped apartment, Anna sifted through files and photographs strewn across the table. Each piece of evidence was a thread in a tangled web. Her phone buzzed, a cryptic text warning her to stop digging. Fear threatened to paralyze her, but the fire in her belly burned brighter. "Justice isn't given," she muttered. "It's taken." Determined, she mapped out her next move, knowing that every step closer to the truth would bring her deeper into danger. Yet, the risk was worth it if she could finally pull back the curtain on corruption. The following morning, Anna met with her trusted source, a weary whistleblower named Mark. In a quiet cafe, he slid a folder across the table. "They erased everything, but this survived," Mark said, voice low and urgent. The documents revealed a cover-up so vast it implicated officials at the highest levels. Anna's hands trembled as she skimmed the pages, feeling the weight of the conspiracy tighten around her. This was more than a story, it was a ticking time bomb, and they were all in its blast radius. As Anna left the cafe, her phone buzzed again, this time an anonymous call. "Stop now or you'll regret it," a cold voice warned. Her pulse quickened, but she didn't falter. Justice was stolen, but she would fight to reclaim it. Alone or not, her voice would be heard. The streets felt colder, shadows longer, but Anna's resolve blazed brighter than ever. This was only the beginning of a war no one else dared to wage. And she was ready to face whatever darkness awaited. Anna sat alone in a dimly lit newsroom, the hum of computers and murmurs of reporters around her a distant blur. Her eyes scanned the folder Mark had given her, each page revealing layers of deceit. "They altered witness statements, destroyed surveillance tapes," she whispered, her voice heavy with disbelief. A phone rang sharply, another warning this time more menacing. But Anna's mind was already racing, connecting dots that no one else dared to see. Her story was no longer just a scoop, it was a threat to those in power. "I have to be smarter," she thought, "and faster." The shadows around her seemed to close in, but she leaned in deeper, ready to expose the truth. The next day, Anna arranged a secret meeting with a former government lawyer, Emily. In a quiet park, Emily spoke cautiously, eyes darting nervously. "They're not just hiding mistakes, they're fabricating evidence to crush dissent," she said, voice barely above a whisper. Emily's fear was palpable, but so was her determination. She handed Anna a USB drive, a lifeline containing files too dangerous to be emailed. "This could bring everything down," Emily warned, glancing over her shoulder. Anna's heart raced. This was the breakthrough she needed, but the danger was escalating. The web of lies was tightening, and the players were more ruthless than she imagined. Back at her apartment, Anna plugged the USB into her laptop, eyes scanning file after file. Videos, emails, covert memos. Each clip revealed a darker truth. Officials conspiring, evidence suppressed, even threats against whistleblowers. She paused on a video showing a shadowy figure exchanging a briefcase in a parking garage. Unmistakably a bribe. The room felt colder, the stakes higher. This isn't just corruption, it's a criminal enterprise, she thought. Anna's fingers trembled, but her resolve hardened. She had to get this into the light. If she faltered now, the truth would be buried forever, and justice would remain a stolen dream. Determined to verify the footage, Anna reached out to a tech expert, Malik, a former hacker with a reputation for exposing secrets. In a small basement workshop filled with screens and wires, Malik examined the files and nodded slowly. "This is authentic, no tampering," he confirmed. But his face darkened. "They'll come after you harder now." Anna swallowed the fear rising inside her. "Then I'll fight harder," she replied. The room hummed with electricity and tension. Every ally was a risk, every truth a target. Anna realized the fight was no longer just for the story. It was for her life. That evening, as Anna left Malik's workshop, she felt the weight of unseen eyes following her steps. The city streets were eerily quiet, the usual buzz muted by an oppressive tension. Her phone vibrated. Another anonymous message: "Stop digging or disappear." But Anna's grip tightened around her recorder. She looked up at the looming skyline, rain beginning to fall again. The storm outside mirrored the one inside her, chaotic, relentless, unyielding. The government's dirty secret was no longer just a story. It was a battlefield, and Anna was in the line of fire. The next morning, Anna reviewed the growing evidence while news reports spun a different narrative, officials framing her story as baseless conspiracy. Frustrated but undeterred, she arranged a covert meeting with her editor. "They're trying to discredit us," Anna said sharply. "But this story will break. People deserve to know." Her editor nodded, concern etched on his face. "Be careful. This isn't just politics anymore. It's personal." The newsroom felt colder now, hostile even. Anna knew the opposition was ruthless, but exposing the truth was her mission, and failure was not an option. She steeled herself for the fight ahead. Later that day, Anna's phone buzzed with an unexpected message: "Coordinates to a secret meeting." Cautiously, she arrived at a dimly lit underground parking lot where a nervous whistleblower awaited. "They've been watching me too," he whispered, glancing over his shoulder. His information filled in critical gaps, proof of surveillance on Anna and others digging too deep. "They know who you are, Anna. They'll come for you next." The chilling warning made her blood run cold. But her voice didn't waver. "Then I'll be ready." The stakes were higher than ever. Trust was scarce, and danger was closing in. That night, Anna's apartment was breached, papers scattered, laptop missing. She barely escaped through the back door as alarms wailed faintly in the distance. Panic and adrenaline surged, but her resolve only hardened. She realized the true depth of the conspiracy. Those in power would stop at nothing to silence her. "They want me gone," she thought, heart pounding. Yet, she refused to vanish into the shadows. The battle was no longer just about exposing secrets. It was a fight for survival, and Anna was determined to win, no matter the cost. With her resources compromised, Anna turned to Malik once more. In the safety of his tech sanctuary, they devised a plan to leak the incriminating files anonymously. Malik's fingers flew over keyboards, setting up secure channels and encrypting data. "If this works, it'll blow the lid off everything," he said grimly. Anna nodded, aware this was their last shot. The danger was immense, but silence meant complicity. The weight of the mission pressed down, but together they prepared to spark a revelation that could shake the government to its core. As the files were sent into the digital ether, Anna felt a strange mix of dread and hope. Overnight, the leak spread like wildfire across social media and news outlets. The public's outcry was immediate, shaking political foundations. But victory was far from assured. Threats intensified, allies vanished, and the government pushed back hard. Anna stood at the epicenter of a storm she'd ignited. In the quiet moments she whispered to herself, "Justice may be stolen, but I'm not finished yet." The battle for truth had only just begun. The backlash was swift and merciless. Anna woke to headlines branding her a traitor, a liar, and worse. Online trolls flooded her social media with venomous attacks, and trusted sources suddenly went silent. Yet in the chaos, an unexpected message arrived from an anonymous ally within the government. "Keep pushing. The cracks are widening." The words fueled her determination. Anna realized the battle was no longer just public opinion. It was about exposing the rot inside powerful institutions before it consumed everything. With renewed vigor, she prepared to dive deeper into the shadows where justice had been buried. Anna's investigation led her to a forgotten government archive, buried deep beneath a nondescript building. Inside, rows of dusty filing cabinets held decades of secrets. She worked meticulously, uncovering documents revealing a pattern of fabricated evidence and coerced testimonies. Each file was a testament to a system built on lies. "This is beyond corruption," Anna murmured. "It's institutional betrayal." As she scanned the records, footsteps echoed from the corridor. Her heart raced. She wasn't alone. The danger was closing in faster than ever. Suddenly, a figure appeared at the doorway, a government agent with a cold, unreadable expression. "You're trespassing," he said, voice low and threatening. Anna stood her ground. "The public deserves to know the truth." The agent's eyes narrowed. "Some truths cost lives." Tension crackled between them. Anna's mind raced, weighing escape routes while calculating her next move. The silent standoff was broken only by the distant hum of the building's ventilation. This confrontation was no accident. It was a message: back off or face the consequences. Anna slipped away when the agent's attention faltered, heart pounding as she navigated narrow stairwells and emergency exits. Outside, the city's noise felt distant and surreal. She realized that the truth she sought was a double-edged sword, one that threatened not just her career but her very existence. "They want to bury this story forever," she thought, "but I won't let them." The night air was cold, sharp with rain, but Anna's resolve burned hotter than ever. The fight for justice was no longer just professional, it was personal, and she was ready to face the storm head-on. In the quiet hours before dawn, Anna met with a small group of allies, journalists, activists, and whistleblowers united by a shared cause. Around a cluttered table illuminated by a single lamp, they strategized the next steps. "We expose everything at once," Anna declared, voice steady. "The public deserves the full story." The room buzzed with nervous energy and hope. This was more than a story now. It was a movement. As dawn broke outside, Anna felt a fragile but fierce optimism. The battle was far from over, but for the first time, she wasn't alone. The day of the grand reveal was finally here. Anna and her team had worked tirelessly, coordinating with independent media outlets and activists to simultaneously release the mountain of evidence exposing the government's dark secrets. As the first report aired, the world erupted. Social media lit up with hashtags calling for justice. Debates flared across living rooms and cafes, and protests sparked in cities nationwide. Anna watched the digital storm unfold, her heart a mix of triumph and anxiety. This was a turning point, a moment where the truth could no longer be hidden. Yet, beneath the exhilaration lurked a chilling awareness: powerful enemies were mobilizing. The fight for justice had ignited a blaze, but the flames might soon engulf everything she held dear. Across town, government officials convened in a sleek, sterile conference room, their faces grim under the harsh fluorescent lighting. A senior official, sharp in a tailored suit, addressed a circle of advisors with cold precision. "We must contain the narrative," he said, voice void of empathy. "Discredit the leaks, control the media, and silence the dissenters." The room hummed with tense urgency as advisors exchanged worried glances, aware this crisis threatened to topple careers, and perhaps more. Outside, protests roared louder, and journalists redoubled their efforts. Anna knew the propaganda machine was relentless and ruthless, but public sentiment was shifting. Accountability felt closer than it had in years, though the price for truth was steep and rising. Threats escalated rapidly. Anna's home was vandalized overnight, broken windows, threatening graffiti smeared across her front door. Her phone was hacked, private conversations leaked. Friends and allies vanished without explanation, swallowed by fear or coercion. Yet she refused to bend. Late one night, speaking with Malik, she said, "They want me silenced through fear, but I won't let them win." Together they planned a public forum where whistleblowers could share their truth safely. It was a risk, exposing themselves even further, but necessary to rally the fractured voices of justice. At the event, Anna's voice rang clear and powerful, igniting courage among those who had suffered in silence. In that room, solidarity burned bright against the growing darkness. Days later, a bombshell, an internal government report was leaked, revealing that top officials had deliberately fabricated evidence and suppressed testimonies to shield powerful interests. Anna sat with the heavily stamped, classified document in her hands, eyes scanning every line, disbelief mixing with vindication. "They lied to us all," she muttered. The report's detailed accounts exposed a conspiracy far deeper than she had imagined, systemic corruption that had betrayed the very principles of justice. Yet the revelation came with a bitter clarity. Exposing this truth meant challenging not just individuals, but an entire institution. Anna steeled herself for the escalating dangers ahead, knowing that the fight to rebuild trust would be long and arduous. Public pressure mounted relentlessly. Official investigations were announced, leading to a cascade of resignations and arrests that rocked the political landscape. Yet despite the apparent victories, Anna felt a hollow ache. Justice, she knew, was slow, fragile, and incomplete. Alone in her dim apartment, she watched the evening news recount the unfolding drama, the flickering screen casting long shadows across her weary face. "This isn't over," she whispered to herself, a mantra born from exhaustion and hope. The system was cracked open, but the path to genuine reform was uncertain and fraught with resistance. Still, somewhere deep within, a flicker of hope burned, a belief that someday, the stolen justice might finally be reclaimed. In the quiet aftermath of the government shakeup, a fragile calm settled, but Anna knew better than to rest. In a cozy sunlit cafe, she gathered her closest allies, journalists, activists, and insiders who shared her vision of true reform. "The system is broken, but it can be rebuilt," Anna said, her voice steady with conviction. "We must create a watchdog coalition to hold power accountable, ensure transparency, and protect those who speak out." Around the table, nods of agreement sparked a renewed sense of purpose. The fight had shifted from exposure to restoration, daunting and complex. Anna felt the immense weight of responsibility, but embraced it with fierce determination, knowing this was the true test of her courage and endurance. Weeks passed, and Anna's coalition gained momentum, igniting a wave of public engagement. Town halls, petitions, and investigative reports flooded news outlets, signaling a groundswell of demand for justice. Yet resistance was fierce. Anna's phone buzzed with veiled threats and warnings disguised as advice. One evening, Malik called urgently, voice strained, "They've infiltrated our meetings, trying to sabotage us from inside." The line abruptly went dead. The chilling reality settled over Anna. Those clinging to corrupt power would stop at nothing. "They use fear as a weapon," Anna reminded her team. "But courage is our strongest shield." The stakes escalated, but so did their unbreakable resolve to protect democracy and truth. Late one night, alone in her apartment, Anna sifted through a trove of leaked documents hinting at a corruption nexus far wider than previously thought. Business moguls, foreign lobbyists, and shadowy financiers, all entwined in the conspiracy. The labyrinthine complexity was staggering. She realized that dismantling this network would require unlikely alliances and careful trust. Reaching out, she arranged a clandestine meeting with a former insider who had vanished years ago under mysterious circumstances. They met in a shadowed park, the cool night air thick with tension and unspoken fears. "If we expose this," the insider warned grimly, "the fallout will be catastrophic for everyone involved." Anna met his gaze steadily. "Truth demands risk. I'm ready." As the coalition's influence grew, the government retaliated with increasing aggression, enacting restrictive laws on media freedom, intensifying surveillance on dissidents, and orchestrating disinformation campaigns, targeting Anna and her allies. Still, public support swelled, fueled by undeniable evidence and a collective yearning for justice. At a massive rally, Anna's voice cut through the evening air, bold and unwavering. "We stand at a crossroads," she proclaimed, "where silence means complicity and courage shapes our future." The crowd erupted in cheers and chants, waving flags and holding signs aloft. Despite the looming threats and exhaustion, Anna's vision galvanized a diverse movement united in defiance. The battle was far from over, but hope burned brighter than ever. One quiet, tense night, Anna's inbox flashed with an encrypted message bearing explosive proof, a detailed dossier exposing a high-level cover-up implicating the highest echelons of government. The evidence was a ticking bomb, capable of toppling careers and shaking the foundations of power. Anna sat motionless, heart pounding, staring at the glowing screen, knowing the consequences of releasing this truth could be catastrophic, not just for her, but for the movement. "This is the moment," she whispered to herself, steeling her nerves. Dawn crept over the horizon as she prepared to share the dossier with the world, fully aware the coming storm would test every ounce of her strength. The fight for justice had become a war, and she was on the front lines. With the explosive dossier now public, the nation held its breath. Headlines screamed of scandal, and the corridors of power trembled. Anna watched the chaos unfold from her modest apartment, a mixture of exhaustion and quiet triumph settling over her. But the victory was fragile. The government scrambled to spin narratives, while powerful interests mobilized legal attacks and smear campaigns. Anna knew this was no ordinary fight. It was a battle for the soul of democracy itself. She steeled herself, realizing the stakes had never been higher. "The truth has been unleashed," she thought, "but the cost of freedom is never cheap." The storm was raging, and she stood at its eye, unbowed and unbroken. In the weeks that followed, political upheaval rocked the capital. Resignations piled up, investigations deepened, and the public demanded accountability. Yet, Anna faced her own reckoning, friends betrayed by fear, allies silenced, and shadows of doubt creeping in. At a quiet moment she confided in Malik, "This fight has cost more than I ever imagined." Malik's voice was steady. "But you've changed everything. The system will never be the same." Anna nodded, feeling both pride and sorrow. Justice was imperfect, messy, and incomplete. But for the first time, real change had taken root. The battle had reshaped her world forever. The final court hearings began, bringing the drama to a climax. Anna sat in the packed courtroom, every detail scrutinized under intense media scrutiny. Witnesses testified, evidence was dissected, and the truth laid bare piece by piece. But the verdict shocked everyone. An unexpected plea deal left many feeling justice had been compromised. Anna's heart sank. "Is this the best we can do?" she wondered. Yet, beneath the disappointment was a spark of understanding. Change is rarely neat or swift. It was a step forward in a long journey. The courtroom buzzed with mixed emotions, and Anna vowed to keep fighting beyond the gavel's echo. In the aftermath, Anna stood at a rooftop overlooking the city at twilight, the sky painted in shades of purple and orange. The fight for justice had left scars, but also new beginnings. She reflected on the sacrifices made, the lost friendships, the threats, and the unrelenting pressure. Yet she felt a cautious hope. "Justice may be stolen again, but we'll keep fighting," she whispered to the wind. The city lights flickered below, a symbol of resilience and the ongoing struggle for truth. Anna understood that this battle was not a single story, but a continuing legacy. And she was ready to carry that torch forward, no matter what lay ahead. As night deepened, Anna's phone buzzed with a new message, cryptic, unsigned, but charged with meaning. "The fight never ends." She smiled faintly, a sharp echo of the battles past and those still to come. The courtroom doors closed behind her as she stepped into the darkness, the weight of every choice and sacrifice etched into her resolve. In that haunting silence she whispered to herself, "This is just the beginning." The city breathed around her, alive with stories untold, truths yet uncovered, and justice still waiting to be won. The final breath of this chapter echoed like a challenge. Unforgiving, unforgettable, and utterly human.